What is going on, guys? It's Justin from the J Media back with another video. Today we'll be doing some brake pad installs on my Lexus RCF, both front and rear. So it's about time we got them done. So let's go ahead and show you guys what we're working with today. So we're replacing the brake pads on the 6-piston front brakes and the brake pads on the 4-piston rear brakes. And I know a lot of people either opt for the OEM option or some aftermarket options. Personally, the OEM setup, the Brembo setup, is really heavy on the brake dust as well as squeaks quite a bit, especially in cold temperatures. So let's show you guys. I washed the car down just like 2 or 3 days ago to show you guys how much brake dust on the front brakes. Yeah, that's how much brake dust. Whenever I wash the car, it gets all dirty. Wheels get all dirty, calipers get all dirty as well. So I'm not going to go OEM option. There's a couple aftermarket options. And I've been doing my research just to see which one best suits my needs. You guys know I love my JDM brands. So I was really debating between two brands, the Project Mule brakes or the Tom's Racing brake pads. One pin right here, one pin on the bottom, and then the difference is you have 2 extra pins holding it in place right here. So 2, I believe 15mm bolts right here, you get a release. And then you have the metal spring brackets. There's one right here, one right here. Once the pins come out, this should be pretty loose. And then your brake sensor as well. So pretty similar steps. Then you're gonna punch these pins out. If you have a pin punch, it really helps. I don't, so I'm just using an Allen key, but it makes your life a lot easier to have the right tools. Unfortunately, some of the auto stores close to where I live don't have it in stock. So we punch the top one out, gonna punch the bottom one out. Alright, so we're gonna remove the 2 13mm bolts. They're pretty tight, so all this brake dust kicked on, but should be able to use a ratchet, use some force, and get it loose. It's a lot of brake dust up front, so it's really kicked on there. Gonna be careful of your brake lines. Alright, so first one's out. Let's do the other one. Alright, second one's out as well. And to remove the pins, I'm just using this vice grip or pliers, just slowly twist it back and forth. Like I said, there's a lot of gunk from the brake dust, especially out front. So just wiggle it back and forth. A lot of patience. On the rear came out a lot easier, a lot less brake dust. Alright, so finally got these 2 pins out. They were stuck in there pretty tight. Now we already have the 2 15mm bolts removed from the back, so these metal spring loads are loose. You can just unclip it. Should just pop right out. If you're having difficulty, you could use something to pry it out. Alright, so everything's out. Now I'm gonna stick the flathead in there, push the brake pads against the rotor so we have more space, pushing the pistons in so we can remove the brake pads. And then on the back with the sensor, we're just gonna unclip it. Be careful not to snap it. It's pretty tight. Alright, move the brake pad like so. I'm gonna carefully unclip the metal bracket on here as well as the brake pad. So I would use a flathead screwdriver. It's a little clip on here. It's probably easy to pry it out from in here. Alright, so for the other side, same thing. I'm gonna push the pad against the rotor just so we can have more clearance. Or you can use your hand and just grab it, push against the pistons, and it slides right out. Alright, so with the brake calipers all cleaned down, I'm gonna let it dry for a little bit. I'm gonna come around, knock out the other side really quick. Here's a comparison. Look at the nasty brake calipers, all that brake dust, versus this side, a lot cleaner. Alright, so we're gonna attempt to do the front brake pads again. So earlier clips you guys saw we had the Tom's racing pads and we were sent the wrong brake pads. Unfortunately, brake sensor didn't fit. So now we got replacement ones from Project Mew. I'm gonna replace the fronts and rears, might as well. These brake pads look great. So yeah, hopefully they should slap right on. Let's go ahead and remove the OEM pad. Alright, so we're gonna replace the front brake pads. We have the OEM pads, the Brembo pads, they're out. Gonna replace it with the Project Mews. These are the Project Mew NSC pads meant for the RCF. Really nice packaging. The Project Mew NSC pads are sweet compared to the OEM ones. This time it's 3 different sections which fits the 6-pot brakes. When I got the Tom's Racing one, they sent me just 2 portions, which doesn't seem right. We're going to test fit the brake sensor first before we throw it on. Make sure that brake sensor fits. Sweet. Brake sensor fits right on, fits nice and snug just like OEM. So let's go ahead and throw on the brake pads. Before you throw it on, don't forget to transfer over these metal shims. Got some brake grease, let's go ahead and lubricate it in between this as well as these metal shims. Just like so. And you're going to go ahead and spread it out. You can go ahead and use your finger to spread it out. Get it all on the pad before you go ahead and put on that metal shim. So what this does is it prevents the metal on metal sound. Alright, you can go ahead and put this on. Very important, make sure to line it up. If you have a new one, that's great. And then now we can go ahead and throw it in. Alright, brake pads fit like a glove. You might notice it's a little bit tight when you put it in just because you have a much more brake pad life. If you're having issues, you can use your fingers, your hand, pull down the little pistons inside, or you can also use this to just kind of wedge it in between just so you have more clearance. So make sure all the holes line up right now. Now we're just going to throw the hardware back on. Bam! Front pads all done for the driver's side. So yeah, they should slip right on. What do you guys think? Project Mew pads look great. Let's go ahead and knock out the other sides. Just like that, you have the passenger sides out. You guys saw there's no stops. I ran the whole thing. It probably took about 5 to 10 minutes maybe. So pretty easy to do once you know how to do it. So yeah, let's go ahead and take out the new pads. We're gonna put the grease on. We're gonna transfer over these little shims. And just like that, we have everything slapped back on. Again, this is everything in reverse. So what you want to do is removing it. I went ahead and removed these 2 first. I believe it's 13mm bolts from the back. Remove this little metal shim, holding it in place. It's kind of like spring. And then remove, I removed this pin first using a pin punch. And then you can go ahead and remove this metal thing. Remove this 13mm. Slides out. Make sure to be careful of your brake sensor right here whenever you remove anything or disconnect it. Putting it back on is the same thing, but everything in reverse. In case you guys are wondering, off camera I also swapped out the rear brake pads to Project Mews. Previously I had the Tom's Racing ones. They fit just fine, but I wanted matching brake pads all around, the same brand, same type, fronts and rears. And since they sent me the wrong brake pads for the fronts, didn't fit, I went ahead and swapped it out for Project Mews. Alright, we have the rear brakes, front brakes all done, wheels back on, torque down. One last step to do, and what you want to do is don't forget to pump your brakes. You definitely want to be pumping your brakes before you drive it, because you don't want to be driving at high speed and don't feel any brake pressure. So I can depress it all the way, pump it up a few times. Just keep pumping it until it's nice and firm, and then you're good to go. Always a good idea to take your car out for a little drive, pump it up, make sure brake pedal feels nice and firm when you're braking. So yeah, that's a wrap. So I got it done so much quicker. The first time around we just didn't have the right pads, so yeah, unfortunate. We had to run the stock pads for a few more weeks while waiting for the new ones to come in. But hope you guys like it. If you guys stay to the end, leave a thumbs up, subscribe. Catch you guys in the next video.